Well, I'm just going to keep on riding this wave. My analytics are going way, way up on the channel. So, of course, that's a great thing. At the end of the video, I will show my analytics for the channel like I've been doing for the past week or so. Um, Today, I've also been doing 2 penny rolls because I've been getting through the first one quicker as I've learned how to better identify double die errors. I know that now that a lot of the pennies that I find in the penny rolls are not double dies. They are mechanical doubling. Mechanical doubling, if you want the definition of mechanical doubling, go below into the description and click the link that says worthless um, double dies. And you can read all about it. Okay. I did videos where I read it online or look up for the video where I spoke about it. Just type in double dies into the search bar and you can find it. So this here is a regular penny roll from the bank, and this was from a customer, and I put a little cross on it so I don't get them confused because they look the same. These here are loaded with copper pennies that the one of my uh, subscribers donated to the channel. So I'll do it second. There's a good chance that a lot of these have been searched through already. So I do want to do them because the person put put zinc in with the cop. There's a couple of them had zinc in it, so I can't even put these as all copper rolls and just put them to the side. So I have to search through them. So why not do it on the channel? That's what I thought. All right, this penny roll appears to have about 10 copper pennies in it. In that range. All right. And we're starting off with a copper penny. Very nice. 81D. So, one of the questions there are certain questions that I get on a regular basis. And one of them is, how much is that worth? Which I've done videos on how to search the value of coins. If you go into the description, I have a link to that video if you want to know, what a penny is worth or what a coin is worth, and you can look up it shows you how to search for the value of coins. Okay, so that's number one. Another question that I get, which I spoke about previously just now, is how do you know that's a double die or not? And like I said before, there's a link for worthless double dies. And I guess now we got an 82. I'm not sure. I think this is zinc. It's not in good condition though. I'd have to weigh it. So I'll just leave it to the side. It has to be weighed. All right. This one has some shapes in the rim. Very specific looking shapes. Huh. Let me look at this under the loop. I doubt if it's a second strike coin. Even though they're shapes, they don't look like letters, right? It doesn't look like the United States of America is in the rim. If it was, it'd be a very expensive coin. Let me look at this under the loop. They are shapes, and something did cause that. I do not think that is from a second strike, though. And that, obviously the shapes that I'm referring to are this, 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 this. They do not. They don't look like letters to me. So if you think they're letters, let me know in the comments below. But to me, they don't look like letters. So what is? So I will talk a little bit about what a double die is, since again I've been getting that question a little bit more often lately. A double die. I have to look at this on the loop. I'll get back to that in a second. A double die is when the working die, right? Prior to the working die, I'll put this one to the side. I'm not sure if this is a double die or not. Prior to the working die, which is the final die or the final object, right? You got hubs and you got dies. I believe, and Eric can let me know. He did leave a comment below. But again, so the hubs make the dies, right? That's my understanding. But for some reason, I feel like there's two hubs and two die and one other die in the making. Oh, that's very interesting. Zinc blister. This might have value when they look exotic like this. People like them. This might have a value of $1 or $2. When that's a nice copper penny. When so whatever 2024, no double ear, no no doubling on the shield. The the dies and hubs involved with making the final working die. All right. So there's a final die that makes all coins. All coins, at least recent coins, past 100 years. There are hubs and dies. And the working die is the final die. That's the one that is strikes the planchets no white AM. Strikes the planchets, whatever it is, a million times. So I'm not exactly sure how many times they strike each, or they're about each coin. I mean, it's got to be. I'm assuming it's millions, right? Because if there's 5 billion coins that are made, and if it's 100 million each die, then that would still be 50 dies working dies used in the process of making those 5 billion pennies in this example. So 50 dies is a lot. I'm not sure if there's 50, if there's 100, if there's 10. I'm not sure what the number is. If you know, let me know. Excuse me, in the comments below. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. Yeah, that's machine doubling, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so the important things to know is that there's multiple, there's at least a hub or two, and that the final die is called the working die. That's the one that makes that's the one that strikes the planchet to make it into a coin. And the hubs, the dies, Wow, that would be a suit. Nah, that's got to be a scratch. Let me look at that. Wow. Wait, hold on. Come on. Okay, so die spikes, right? Usually you'll see a die spike in the corner of the buildings and they'll shoot out or from one of the letters and it'll be very small, short. And they're worth about $5. I have never seen a die spike this long. I've never seen a die spike this long. I'm not going to say it's a world record or anything like that. See, this is a scratch. This is a die spike. I can see how close I can get to it. Yeah, you can see how it raises up above the clad, above the surface. Wow. Yeah, that had, wow, what an interesting penny roll this is turning out to be. Made a few bucks already today. Okay, so one of the hubs or one of the dies struck each other multiple times. Usually it's twice. And that is how the double die is formed. So the the striking of the hub, the dies prior to the final die being made. Okay. Why that happens? There's probably a bunch of reasons why that happens, but it's a mistake, right? It's not supposed to happen. Maybe the strike was too light, right? So let me look at this. That's the problem with dirty 2020 dirty ones is that it starts to look like extra V's, but it's just dirt. No extra V. So the die is struck twice and or three times or whatever amount of times. And it creates um, a double die. It creates a primary and a secondary image, or a primary and a secondary strike. So let's say that the strike was too weak, it was a light strike, and the die maker, the person who's either, I don't know if it's pressed or struck, has a very weak die clash. You can see it a little bit. I don't know if that's it there. 82D copper. If this was a small date, I'd be a millionaire. I put it with the other 82. So that's how the double die is created. The important thing to remember is that there's a primary and a secondary strike. So the weak strike, right? In this example, no white AM. In this example of a weak strike, the first strike is weak. So that's the primary strike. So it made the image, and the person said, "Oh wow, that's weak. I'm gonna I'm gonna press the die again to make the image stronger for the coin." And when they do it, let's say the hub tilts a little bit, just for example, I'm just making that up, right? Let's say it tilts. So when it strikes, when it presses against the die that makes the coin a second time, it tilts a little bit, and all the letters get spread out slightly. So when it makes the coin, there'll be a first strike. Well, excuse me. When it makes the coin, you'll see the letters, the numbers, whatever it is, it's slightly spread in a direction towards the center, towards the edge. And that's the double die. See how weak it is? That's the 2024 era. See how weak the VDB is? And the L? It's mostly here in the VDB. No value. It doesn't have any value. Same thing with the states of. It's a little weaker. Could be from Greece. Again, there's no value in that. But if, let's say, the VDB was missing, then that would have value. But you can still see it a little bit, and it's just not collectible. So that would be the double die, the spreading. And if you looked under a microscope, you would see the first strike, and there'll be a slight differentiation where the two images separated. There's another 2024. Again, it's weak. The L is weak here, and so is the VDB. Let's say this VDB was gone, and you can see. Look, you see the shadow or the change of how the texture is of the surface near the rim. That's the error, and you see how light the L is in the VDB. Now, let's say the VDB was gone. Now, that might be worth $1 or $2, but in this case, you can still see it. I'll put it with the other 2024 we found. 2017 P. This one's not in very good condition. I'll still hold on to it. So that's why it gets confusing with mechanical doubling, right? Think about it. In the example I used, with the hub tilting slightly on the second press for the working die, the letters smeared, right? Okay. Well, how much different does that look from if the working die with no double die on it, when it goes to make the coin, tilts and moves? Right? Do you follow what I'm saying? But there is a difference. And is my skill level to that point? Probably not. Those are coins that I'd probably look at and have question marks on it, and I'll put a little question mark on the 92. We're looking for close AM. Close AMs are worth $100. Never found one. And the so I asked you if you followed what I was saying. So the double die of the hub of the working die, possibly the hub was tilted when it pressed, and the letter, either on the reverse or the obverse or both, might be spread in a direction, right? But now you got, here's the second row. Where's the second? This is the I think this is not, I don't want to call it the cherry pick roll, but this is a loaded coin roll, meaning that the person, this isn't from their pocket change. This penny roll is not from the person's pocket change. This penny roll was from their searched pocket change, and then they put pennies into this penny roll and they donated to the channel. So of course I'm thankful. And as you can see, it looks like it's all copper. But there might be a zinc in here, and that's the problem. So I can't just put it to the side. I have to check through it. So, but I have no idea if if the person who sent me this penny roll really searched through these pennies or not, to the point where, um, there's nothing good in it. So that's why I left it for last, in case anybody checked out. Then they wouldn't. Let me look at that under the loop. Something weird going on with the Plurius. Oh, it's scraped. Kind of weird that it's just the Implurius that's scraped, but it's just the Implurius. Huh. I'll put that to the side too. Pretty cool looking. All right, so let me try to at least finish my thought about the double die. For those of you who are interested, I have to see if that's a repunch mint mark. I don't think it is. So with mechanical doubling, when the working die, right, the die that makes the coin, hits the planchet, it can also tilt. And when it tilts, it could also spread the image, the numbers, the letters. And that's why it's confusing. That what I just described during this video for the past 20 minutes is why finding double dies is confusing, because of that show does look like a repunch mint mark, because of that, the similar characteristics. It might be. Kind of looks like a repunch mint mark. I'll put that to the side too. The similar characteristics between the double die and mechanical doubling, which I just went into detail, even though I said at the beginning of the video, you can look it up yourself in the description, which you still can. And you still would have to, if you're new to penny roll hunting and coin collecting and identifying errors, you still have to read up on it, because to commit this stuff to memory takes a lot of practice, a lot of studying. So what I'm noticing in these coins, and I think I'm figuring it out finally. And I'm not saying that the person was playing a joke. Obviously, they took time out and they spent money to send me the coins. And I'm very appreciative. And anybody who wants to send me a donation, my PO box is listed below. I think that obviously the person had to find these pennies, right, and separate the copper from the zinc, right? So everybody has their own little technique for doing that, their own system. Like, this is mine, right? That's the copper, that's the first roll, that's the second roll, and that's the zinc in the back, right? And then down here are the ones I separated for future observation. So the person separated the zinc from the copper, And then he or she found some question mark coins, and then they separated those coins even further. See, that's deteriorated die. It's not a, I don't think it's a double die. I think that's deteriorated die, which is another worthless um, type of double die, like mechanical doubling. And that, because a lot of these look like coins that someone might have to uh, give close observation to check for doubling, and then they might have loaded them back into the penny roll, and that's what they sent me. They might have sent me their questionable double die coins. See, like this one, look at this is a good example of mechanical doubling. Okay, so if you've been listening to this video from the beginning, we went over how the double die is made and the difference between the double die working die that makes the coin and the working die that is either deteriorated, is cleaned, or tilts when it hits the planchet, which makes either a uh, a mechanically doubled coin, a deteriorated die, doubled coin, and 1960. Come in small, large date. This is centered. It's a centered coin. It's not in very good condition though. This one actually looks cleaned. That looks cleaned. Hardly ever find a clean coin. So he probably cleaned this one. It looks clean to me anyway. See the spreading here? See, that could be either caused from a double die or from the 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 tilting of the die when it struck. Very difficult to tell. So the primary die and the secondary strike. The primary strike and the secondary strike on the double die is what will differentiate. Will show you the difference between a you see there's doubling here on the E, right? On the west side is doubling. But is the doubling inside the primary strike? I would almost need a microscope for this one. It's so hard to see through the loop, but it's probably inside. So is the doubling inside the primary strike, meaning it's only struck once, right? There's no double die. Now that's the confusing part. That's the part I've been working on for the past several months. Is the doubling within the primary strike or not? Okay. Well, what does that mean? That means either there's a secondary strike or there's not. That's it. That's the whole ball of wax. Either there's a secondary strike with the coin or there is not a secondary strike. Okay? So if you were going to write something down, oh, look at that weak strike. Can you see it? Could be grease, but a very weak strike. Nice. And a die clash. Okay, so that's the whole ball of wax. Either there is a secondary strike or there isn't. And that's where people get hung up and get confused. And everybody, even professional, even numismatists get confused with that. Okay. So getting back to what I said originally, either the object, the element, right? So right here, right, the A is doubled, right? You can see it right there on the bottom. It's clearly doubled. Is the doubling within the original strike? And it is, right? The bottom part of the doubling is the original A. It's not an A outside the original A, or it isn't a secondary struck image. Is all there is here is a primary image, a primary strike. Everywhere you see here, it's all a primary strike, right? But for some reason, the bottom of this A is doubled, but the doubling is within the primary image, which is the primary strike. Now, let's say this went beyond the bottom right leg of the A. Then there would be a question mark. First of all, I would like to see that someplace else because it'd be very unlikely for a coin to have a doubling and it's just in that one little spot right there. I'm not saying it's impossible. I know the cherry pickers guide has a bunch of um, little marks that they indicate, and if you get it graded, it'll put that classification on it, and one of the 9 classes and all of that. I know that. I'm talking more general right now. If I saw some doubling in one of the areas, I would expect to see it at least in some of the other elements right next to it, But if it's just one little, eh, then that would make me investigate it a little bit more. I would scrutinize that coin a little bit more if it was just in one area where I saw doubling. All right, so far this coin roll is all copper, but a couple of the other ones he sent me had some zinc in it, and this is a cherry picked roll. Did the person miss anything? Well, first of all, it's highly unlikely to find a true double die in a penny roll, right? It's rare. So if you're really scrutinizing your coins, you're investigating all your coins, the chance of you missing something that's a nice one. And it has a nice die clash in the reverse. I like the die clashes when you can see the head. Well, you can. I don't know if that's it here, but when you can see a clear head in the stairs, this one you cannot. Or when you see the columns clearly, which here again you cannot. All right, like I said, at the end of this, we'll look very briefly at my analytics, which have been going up on a daily basis for the past couple weeks. And a couple months ago, we were all negative on my analytics, right? The views, the watch time, the subscribers, and the revenue was all down. And then a couple months ago, they leveled off and started to reverse course, going back up to where they were last year. And every day, I'm paying close attention to them. They're going up. They're going up about $1 or $2 every day for the past couple weeks, which is, I don't know, I think that's pretty nuts. You can see the scratch up here relating to the scratch there. So again, this is what a loaded penny roll looks like. So like if you went to eBay and you bought, it said not searched, and then you got something like this, it is searched through, just so you know. It's really just worth the copper value, which recently has been going down. It's going to go back up. Okay, I have to look at that. Most likely not a double die. Funny thing is, it's in the shape of the 8, right? The shadow next to it, or whatever that is in the shape of the 8, and next to the mint mark. The question is that what caused that? I think it's just corrosion. It's just corrosion. So if the channel gets an extra buck a day, that's $365 by the end of the an extra buck a day for my month for the monthly revenue. Then that would be an extra $365 a month on top of the 100, and we're really at 138. Right now, we're doing about $5-6 a day, which isn't nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to do anything for my bank account, really. It will help me get pennies, though. It will help me get more more content for the video. Okay, so let's check it out. I'm gonna pause it and I'm gonna put it up to the screen. Okay, so right here, so I go over this just about every day. Let me have a sip of coffee. I go over this just about every day. These green arrows, you see the green arrows here? They're pointing up, right? A couple months ago, they were gray and pointing down, or red and pointing down. And then I think and gray, no, gray and pointing down. And then when they stabilize back to where they were, if they go back up to where they were, you'll get a check mark like this. See the check mark? So everything, so these two are green pointing up. This number here, which if you look up here, 63,000 more views per month than before. This number here was like 80, 90,000. Now it's 223,000. That's incredible. That's an incredible jump up. And I really haven't changed much as far as, you know, what I do. I know things a little bit more now, so I guess my content's a little bit more educational. This here watch hour is almost 3,000 watch hours per month. This was 0.9. You see how it says 2.9? Before it was 0.9 or 0.8. So this is tripled. The subscribers were under 400, and now it's 738 per month. And as you can see over here, once it hits 760, once this number hits 760, it'll become a upmark check. My revenue was about $88, so that's went up. Now, so this is the way revenue works. Every morning I wake up, and it goes down, right? It resets every 24 hours. So last night the revenue was $138, which is a $6 difference, right? Well, that means I made $6 yesterday, right? So tonight, if it goes to $33, then I made $1 yesterday. Because it shows, the revenue shows yesterday's revenue. So yesterday it was $6 more, means the day before that was $6. So whatever, so I have to remember 132.87, and whatever it goes up, that's how much I made yesterday, right? So for example, if it goes to 138.87, then I made $6 yesterday, right? Okay. So yesterday it was 138 something. So it was a $6 difference. So the only way I'll know if it went up, it has to go over 138 today. So if tonight, when it updates the revenue, if it's not 139, then I made the same or less as yesterday. Okay, so that's that. And then of course we have the subscribers, and my subscribers this is per 48, these are views per 28, per 48 hours, right? So every 48 hours I'm getting 25, almost 26,000 this morning. So I have not broke yet 30,000 views in 48 hours, or 15,000 views daily. And you can see the little spikes here at 7 o'clock, right? Because that's when my videos, Eastern Standard Time, are shown. Is on, I schedule them for 7 o'clock every day. So you'll see a little spike in views at 7. And then I guess at 11 o'clock, maybe that's Rocky Mountain time. Maybe they watch my videos in the Rocky Mountains. But once this cracks 30,000, then that'll be a new high for recent. I did get over 30,000 when I first started the channel. So I have all these benchmarks that I'm paying attention to. And this one here I was at 1,100 last year, and now I'm down to 738, but I was down below that a couple months ago to 380. So we need to get this above 1,100 to like 1,200. My max income was 185, 190. We need to get this to 200, and we need to get this to about 40,000 every. And then at that point, the channel will be doing better than it ever had before. So right now, even though the channel has been going up and improving, it's still not as high as what it was a year ago, when, in my opinion, YouTube started censoring and throttling my channel and many other channels that did not line up with certain political ideations. So I guess I'll keep showing the my analytic, unless people don't want to see it. Then that's where I put it at the end. If you want to check out, you check out. You don't have to watch it. But for those of you who are interested, you get a little extra in behind the scenes information at the end of the video. And then if again, once the channel passes, if that has to, if that's a big if the channel ever passes the my historic statistics, then I'll probably stop at that point, because like, oh, we're better than we ever were before. We're going up in the correct direction, and that'll probably be it. Unless people really love that about the channel, then I guess I'll keep showing it. But you can see how long the video is. The video is only supposed to be about 15-20 minutes long, and I've been doing these double rolls and showing analytics and taking time out explaining things, and that takes a long time. All right, so hopefully everybody enjoyed the video. God bless. Please click like and subscribe. This is episode 474, I believe. I'll see you in episode 475.